Hello, yes, welcome to Good Night Housing with Danhausen. Today we have fellow very legendary, very evil professional wrestler, entertainer, and all-around best-selling book author, Chris Jericho himself. Hello, Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I'm not as evil as I used to be. But when I found out that I was going to be doing this show, I robbed an old lady last night
Oh,
of her purse to kind of up my evil levels, so I could be worthy of being here.
one time Danhausen saw this fellow was in a documentary. It was, he stole a rye bread from an old woman.
Mm.
It's quite wonderful.
Yeah, I've heard that story before too, and as a matter of fact, they actually took that true story and put that onto a television show in the 90s, a show called Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah,
So,
wait, this is the
yeah.
documentary Danhausen's talking about.
Okay, well, it wasn't actually a documentary, it's an actual TV show, but it was based on a real incident that happened in New York in the 80s or so. It was all over the newspapers.
Oh my! So Danhausen, his mind has been blown just now. This thought this was a documentary this whole time.
Well, you've been traveling through different dimensions, so you never know. Kind of maybe when you're watching television in the fifth dimension, it could be a documentary. But here, in this dimension on Earth, it was a TV show. It was called a sitcom.
Oh, a situational comedy.
Exactly. You've done your research. You
Yeah.
know.
All right. Well, we are testing out a new intro song today, so you are the test subject on it. So Danhausen is going to lead it in with that, if that is quite all right.
I think that's a great idea. Let's do it.
All right. It goes like this. Good night, housing with Danhausen, baby. Good night, housing with Danhausen. Oi, oi. Good night, housing with Danhausen, mama. Good night with me. How do you think?
It's good, man. I think I don't know if it has any longevity to it. It's actually quite annoying, to be honest with you.
Oh,
it
okay.
bothers me. It's one of those songs you think you've heard before,
Yes.
and then you realize I don't ever want to hear this again. So,
Oh, well, it was totally an original song, so I don't know where you're getting
well, that's
that.
my point. I mean, you should probably work on it a bit. Add some horns.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, some reed instruments, perhaps.
This was the rough edit. We are going to post CGI, add in the horns and the, everything else.
Oh, you can actually CGI in horn
yeah.
sounds. Oh,
yes, absolutely. That's what Steven Spielberg does all the time. And
I thought CGI was just visual.
Oh,
I didn't realize it could be audio as well.
Yes, you can CGI in anything you want. That's how these wonderful Hollywood scripts get turned into blockbusters.
See, I didn't know that. See, here's the thing. I'm learning on Good Night Housing with Danhausen as we speak, which is great.
As we all do, we continue to learn every single day. What a nice cup.
We do.
What is that?
It's a nice cup of coffee, and it says on there, "I've got a ticket."
Oh,
which is a kind of an obscure reference to something we did on AEW probably back in October, November of 2019. So I was looking for a coffee cup because it's hard to find the right size cup. I like a big cup and I like a nice design on it.
Yes.
So I Googled Chris Jericho coffee cups, and this one actually somebody made this. This is called a bootleg.
Oh yes, Danhausen
is
on Amazon.
Yeah, so somebody made this, and I'm sure they've sold 3 of them. So I'll let it slide. For the 50 cents they made off this, it gave me a pretty funny coffee cup.
Danhausen endorses that. It's quite wonderful. All right, well, get down to business. Danhausen has been doing some research.
Yes.
Your new book. It is called 30 Years of Smashes, Bashes, and Gashes, the Chris Judas Legacy. It's quite wonderful read.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's just kick it off right to pick a number, a very nice, very evil number between 1 and 2,722.
666.
What a coincidence. I should have guessed that. But let's look through. I'm going to look through and find match number 666, which of course is the most evil match of my career that I've had. You can actually, you can play along at home if you have this as well.
Grab your book out. And
okay, here you go. February 17th, 1997. That was match number 666. It was a big win versus Jeff Jarrett. I won with a roll up.
What evil maneuver.
Yes, very evil. And that was in Tampa, Florida, where I am right now.
Ooh.
in front of a crowd of 5,000 people.
And you got
And
paid
it says,
$7.
well, $1,107. So I was making the big money back then.
Oh, yes. He's quite wonderful.
And I gave it 2.5 stars. So it was an average match for me there.
Pretty good. It's, half of 5.
Well, it's halfway there. Exactly.
Yes, he's quite wonderful.
There. So that's the type of information you can find in this book. 30 years of smashes, matches, and hits is actually what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, we misread this, but it is made
Your copy could be different. I'm not sure,
Get the special one.
Yeah.
Danhausen was perusing this book, and he noticed this is actually one of Danhausen's favorite matches as well. You seem fond of this ladder match with Michael Shawn, where you knocked out your own teeth on accident, which is probably why Danhausen is so fond of this match as well.
Right. I mean, you could actually probably go on eBay or Etsy or Kijiji, one of those things maybe, and you might be able to find the broken half tooth of Jericho, which was going to be one of the original titles. I decided on the complete list of Jericho, but one of the ideas was the broken half of a tooth of Jericho. So that is out there because it did hit me in the tooth.
Yes.
Michael Shawn hit me with that ladder, and it snapped half my tooth off. So I had to go to the dentist and get it fixed.
Yes, but even then, it was a great bout. One of Danhausen's all-time favorites. You go back, you can rewatch that match at any time.
You can. Well, you probably have to go onto the WWE Network to do that, or it's probably on YouTube maybe as well.
Danhausen does not know how to navigate this thing anymore, so we do not do that.
Yeah, then they took away my free password years ago, so I don't even have access to it either. So
you know
what?
They took away your free password?
They did. Yeah, they did.
That's what Danhausen will do for you free of charge.
What's that?
The WWE, they're cursed. We have cursed the WWE.
Now it's official. Yeah. Some people might think they already were cursed, but now it's official. You've made them cursed.
They are officially cursed now.
Now the shows are really going to get bad. So
man. We'll make one person exempt on this, and it is Sami Zayn.
Okay.
Sami Zayn is not cursed, but the rest are cursed.
All right, the rest of them can be cursed as well. Yes. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. Maybe the referee Charles Robinson. Let's exempt him as well. He's
okay, fine. We shall do that as well. It will be
Charles Robinson, Sami Zayn, exempt.
Yes.
The rest of them cursed.
Cursed, all of them.
Okay.
All right. So as we carry forward.
Now we've got that taken care of. We can move.
Move very important, very evil business has been taken care of. So Chris Jericho to some, is not just about the great wrestling matches, but rather great moments as well. A nice culmination of sorts.
Right.
Danhausen was going through. You've had the Titantrons, the great entrances, dressing up his Pentagon and surprising everybody.
Right.
You also have defeated Goldberg for $9,000 a night on WCW Weekly. You've also, what else have we written down? Defeated Rock, the Dwayne Johnson, Cold Steve, Kane, and Kane's brother, all in one night to become the WrestleMania champion.
Mm-hmm.
And you were the first ever AEW champion immediately after putting Tony Elite in the walls of Jericho at the kickoff press conference, as Danhausen understands it.
All that stuff is basically true. It's funny because A&W has endorsed me as their first champion. So they've sent me a lifetime supply of root beer.
Oh.
So if you look at the later matches in the complete list of Jericho, like we said, the Jeff Jarrett match was like $1,107 payoff. If you look later on, if you see like match number 2,547 and 62.3, I got paid with 3 cases of A&W root beer. So that's great stuff. Yeah. If we could turn the camera around, you'll see like right over here, there is cases of A&W root beer. Cause that's how I've been getting paid since I started in All Elite Wrestling.
That's nothing to shake a fist at. You can return each can for 10 cents.
You can. And when the bill collectors come and say, hey, where's your mortgage payment? I just give them a couple 6-packs of A&W root beer.
Send them on the way.
Well, before they go on their way, though, I take a scissor and I cut the plastic holder because you can't throw those out anymore because you don't want to strangle the dolphins and all that sort of stuff. So
No.
I cut those, then give that to the mortgage guy, and he's
on his way.
Thanks, Chris, and he leaves, and I get another month in my house. So it's good.
Little root beer. See you later.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks to A&W,
yes,
both the root beer and the company.
Oh yes,
Dan
figures they sponsor each other, one in the same.
Well, right, exactly. And once again, being one of the faces of the company, I get the best root beer, because root beer is a lot like wine. Like, I'm going to open this bottle of 1922 Chardonnay. Oh, it tastes so good. Same thing with root beer.
Aged in a barrel.
This came from a barrel, 1825. You open it up, you smell the ambiance,
yes,
and take a nice sip, and it's really the richest I've ever been right now. Yes. I don't have a lot of money in my bank account, but I have, like I said, cases of this very vintage root beer. So it's good. It's good.
It's priceless, to be quite honest.
It really is.
Now, okay, so Danhausen was going through this, and he thinks that a lot of younger wrestlers can learn, because now Danhausen brings this book with him, The Complete List of Jericho.
Nice. Thank you.
Every show with him, and goes up to the promoter and says, if Danhausen beats Alex Wright every day with a lion tamer, he can make $862 a day in Tupelo, Minnesota.
Right.
And now this is an argument base for Danhausen to make even more monies, because he can pull anything up and go, look at this. Danhausen could make this today. He goes to this, whatever city we're in. We look it up in the book, and now we argue with the promoter.
It's smart, because now you have, like, if you go to court and, you want to, like, I don't know, sue somebody or something, they go to, like, well, the precedent was Roe versus Wade. The precedent has been set here. So now when you go to Tupelo, Minnesota, which, by the way, is the home of Mick Jagger. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, you can go to his house in Tupelo, Minnesota, where Mick Jagger grew up with his mom before he started playing Hound Dog and all shook up and all those songs that the Beatles have been made famous. So now you can go and show this evidence to the promoter that, listen, look at this. I'm going to go right here. I'm opening. I'm not even looking. Look at this. Okay. Match number 72. June 1992, June 1st, I made $51 in Brandon, Manitoba.
Oh, well, we'll not bring that one up, because then they'll try to pay Danhausen $51.
Well, but the point is, if you ever go to Brandon, Manitoba, and they try and pay you less than that, which wouldn't happen because you wouldn't go there.
Yes.
But if they ever did, you could say, hey, Jericho made 51. I'm not taking a penny less than that, unless you throw in some free A&W root beer.
Yes, exactly. Exactly how Danhausen runs.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, as we continue to put it, so we're talking so much about this book, we're promoting it. You shall send Danhausen a check. Danhausen noticed you have a list of favorite opponents in Japan. Okay, yeah. Danhausen's not on this list.
Well, I mean, the times that we wrestled in Japan, sometimes you just didn't click, and I think there was some substances involved, you know how it is when you go out over there. I mean, you and I have tore up Roppongi many times. So, when you sell out the Tokyo Dome as many times as Danhausen versus Chris Judas has,
yes.
How do you put a ranking on that?
This is fair. You cannot it wouldn't be fair to the other opponents you've had.
And you're not one of my favorite opponents, to be honest with you, because you beat me every time in like seconds.
It is usually that's when you got the Judas effect. Danhausen, just every single time we call it the spinning Danhausen.
Well, yeah,
just out.
The one time you forced my hand up with your magical power, and I poked myself in the eye, and then you rolled me up. I mean, 50,000 people paid hundreds of dollars a ticket for that. They weren't happy. They were angrier than when Mike Tyson lost in 27 seconds to Buster Douglas. They're paying all this money, and that's why I couldn't put you on my favorite opponents, most lucrative, biggest money draw opponents in Japan, perhaps. But when you lose as many times as I have to you, it's not something I like to think about. So that's why you're not on that list. So sorry.
This is fair. Also, to be fair, Danhausen does not necessarily want to be on a Chris Jericho list. We know how that goes.
Exactly. It's not good. It's not good. It's
Yes.
not good. So sorry, not sorry, as the kids say nowadays. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, we shall forgive that, and that makes quite a bit of sense. So, as opponents, though, Danhausen has noticed you've defeated Hollywood celebrities. Rock the Dwayne Johnstone.
Yes.
About 113 times or so, and also newer upcoming Hollywood superstar John Cena about 97 times.
Yeah.
So this should make you probably a higher celebrity than both of them.
Well, and don't forget about the about Dave Bautista. I mean, I beat him many times, right? And so, you probably should be putting me in Gone with the Wind and those types of the big Hollywood movies, because by the transitive property, I have beat The Rock and I have beat Cena and I have beat Bautista. So I think it's only a matter of time before I'm actually on the big screen.
Yes,
as well.
Get you in a Scorsese.
I mean, it's only fair.
Or a Steven Spielberg original.
Steven Spielberg is one of my favorite Italian directors. He was amazing. City of the Walking Dead.
Oh, yes. That one's pretty good.
Great movie.
Hell out of Danhausen.
So, we could, I don't want to get off topic here, but you want to talk movie reviews, that is definitely one of the greatest of all time. So I should definitely be, I think I'm actually in talks.
Oh, good.
With those types of people, not Steven Spielberg specifically, but associates of him that kind of are making.
For you. We'll have Danhausen's people, Davis.
Call Davis.
Good word from, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, please get Davis involved. See, I don't even have an assistant.
Oh.
So I need to work my way up to that like you do and find my own Davis to make these calls.
We'll send Davis over to your home. We'll make Davis pay for it, though. He'll pay for his own flight and his own travel and everything.
Yeah, I'm not shelling out any money for these assistants.
No. We do not do that. They try to expend all their Danhausen's expenses and budget on boots. New boots every week.
Who needs that?
No one.
You buy a pair of boots, you wear them for 8 to 10 years.
Yes.
That's how long that they're built to last. So
got a pair of new boots.
Look at those. Those are great, man. Those look great.
So Danhausen did notice, though, there was one bout on here that Danhausen did not recognize one of your moves, where you may have won the WCW championship with from the Dwayne, which was called the Breakdown. What is this move?
Well, if you've seen Miz's finishing move, I don't even know what it goes. The awesome
crushing stone.
Oh yeah. So it's a terrible name. Crushing finale or something like this. The awesome whatever. You put your hands like a full Nelson, and then you put your leg in front of his leg, and then you kind of push him down. So that was the breakdown.
Oh.
And if you go back and watch that match, I do it on a steel chair.
Oh, so it's good.
Yeah, so that became, I know what it is, the skull crushing finale. So Miz took that and made it the skull crushing finale, but the original name for it was the Breakdown.
Ah, yes. Well, that was one.
Which is a much better name too.
The Breakdown, yes. You break the walls down, you break down the skulls.
It fits together, right? Yeah,
exactly. Yes. All right. So you're known for these lists, so on and so forth. Now, your next book, you've been putting out many books, best-selling author multiple times. Perhaps in lieu of this book, following a theme, you could put out a book of the 1,004 holds, so we could figure out finally what is on the whole list.
Well, the thing is, that would have been much better to do in 1998 when I first came up with that list, because as the years go by, you add some, you forget some, there's inflation. There's some that just don't work anymore. Some of them want too much money to continue to use them. So I've let a lot of those holds go. So I'm down to about 75, 76 moves. So I could do that. I could do that list, the list of 72 to 75, 76 moves.
This could be a bonus chapter.
But the rest of them, I mean, it's like when you move from one house to another, you streamline. And when I moved from WWE, I didn't have room in my gear bag for 1,004 holds anymore. So I had to get rid of some of those. And then when I started back with New Japan, checking those things, no good, very expensive. So I got rid of some more. And then starting with A&W, like I said, the root beer is great. And some mortgage guys accept it, but the holds didn't. So then I had to let a lot of them go as well.
You cannot fill your bag with holds. You must bring T-shirts to sell at the merchandise booths.
Exactly. I need to get bags of money, not bags of holds. So I got rid of a lot of them. So there's, like I said, 72, 75 or 76 good ones. And I'm going to stick with those for a while.
This is smart. You're a very genius.
Well, it's one of those things when you take as much psychedelic pills as I do, you get good ideas.
Oh, okay. Well, so Danhausen has a few Fanhausen questions, as we call them. Are you prepared?
I'm ready.
All right. So this list of book has many, many wrestlers. Is there a wrestler you never got to work with that would surprise people?
Well, I never got to work with Bret Hart.
Oh,
that's a little surprising. I would have loved to have had a match with Bret Hart. Other than that, if I'm thinking through kind of all the greats of the sport that I actually, was in the same time frame as, I mean, I would love to have had a match with Frank Gotch and George Hackenschmidt. But by the time I got in the business, they were already in their 30s and 40s. And it's just a little bit too old for me. So, but other than that, I think Bret Hart is the big one that I would have loved to have had a match with. We were in WCW at the same time, but he wouldn't give me the time of day at that point. I was very, very low level,
Wow. You had to be on The Simpsons like him. Otherwise,
Well, that's the thing, so I would put him on there. And then obviously the other one is Funaki. I mean, why that match never happened? I have no idea. I mean, come on, seriously.
Good for you. He would have decimated you.
Well, I mean, he would have, but think of the Boffo box office. That would have made lots of jars of teeth for both of us, I'm sure.
Well, he probably would have Judas effect his teeth right out of him.
Yeah, well, I didn't have the Judas at that point in time. So that's probably why they didn't, why we didn't book the match.
Yes.
I mean, what am I going to do against Funaki anyways? What kind of weapons in my arsenal would even match up to this guy?
Probably nothing, to be quite honest. Good thing you avoided him for so long.
Yeah, exactly. And listen. And here's the thing about doing shows like Good Night Danhausen, Good Night
Danhausen.
What if he finds out about this?
Send it to him.
This is one of the biggest shows in the world right now.
Yes, it is. We have millions of hundreds of viewers. No one is to say how or who.
Dozens. He's going to hear about this and then come looking for me. So now I might have to go into hiding for a couple of years. So if this is the last appearance of Chris Jericho for a while, you know the reason why.
All right. Well, we shall try our best to keep this out of Funaki's hands.
His evil hands. Talk about evil.
Very evil.
You're evil, but he's next plane evil.
Yes. Oh, yes. Right up here.
Yeah.
All right. So someone wanted to know, training when you first started wrestling versus training now, what is the differences? You do kickboxing now, Danhausen knows.
That's true. Yeah. I do a lot of kickboxing. When you're younger, you do a lot of weightlifting. How much you bench. That's the big thing. How much you squat and all that sort of stuff. I mean, you know this.
Yes. 100 pounds.
Then, how much?
100.
Really?
Oh, yes. You're straight. The squatting, everything is
100 pounds.
Oh, yes. Quite the feat of strength, if you ask me.
Mark Henry's record is like 62, 63 pounds.
Danhausen taught Mark how to weightlift.
Wow. Doesn't surprise me. So I'm obviously not at your level, but I was lifting dozens of pounds. And then you get older, and I did a lot of yoga for a while.
Yes.
That was great. And then, switched over to the kickboxing now, which is, that sort of stuff. And you're kickboxing. And I can't really kick right now because I'm sitting. If I wasn't sitting, I could kick the camera. Oh, look at me. Right. But my legs are underneath the desk here, so I can't really do that. But that's good cardio, especially here. I live in Florida. Yes. So you open the garage door, and the heat comes in, humid, sweating.
Oh, yes.
It's really good. Good workout.
Great stuff. All right. So You know, have a great entrance theme. Danhausen has used it, thanks to you, with your permission, but of course, to use it.
I saw it. Thank you. Used it against Pineapple Pete, which was great. Thank you.
Defeated him 3 seconds.
Nice.
Good. So, what truly makes a great entrance theme to you? And when you wrote Judas, did you have an idea that you would be using this as a theme potentially?
Well, I mean, the answer, of course, is yes and no. It's kind of both. It can go both ways. I think a great theme is one that people can sing along to.
Yes.
Something that when you hear the very beginning of it, you know who's coming out. A breaking glass, for example, you always knew that it was a gong, a catchphrase. If you smell what the Rock is cooking, sort of thing. So I think that's the idea behind having a great ring song. And then when I left WWE, I had to get a new song. I wouldn't be able to use that song.
Down.
Right. So you can't do that. So we had this song. It was originally called Chris Judas, but that didn't fit the chorus as well. So we just cut it to Judas. And I thought, well, this might be a good song to come to the ring to. Little did I know, it's probably the greatest ring song of all time at this point.
Monumental. Danhausen experienced it firsthand, just how powerful it is.
I mean, and you're already powerful as it is. So this gives you extra, Red Bull gives you wings. Judas gives you power.
Oh, it definitely gave Danhausen some powers.
So it's good. People enjoy it. They sing along to it.
Weekly, Danhausen, sees everybody in the audience singing to this song.
Every week they're singing, dancing. There's a lot of dancing going on, which is great,
Speaking of power, did you notice in the audience, Danhausen knows you come out, you just look at every single sign. There was a Chris Judas sign in the audience this week.
I saw that. And Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South, told me that you can't make people write signs. That's how you know it's really getting over. So the fact that Chris Judas was on a sign that somebody wrote and brought to the show, I mean, we should probably put out a T-shirt, split it,
Yes, the Chris Judas Danhausen espionage.
Danhausen presents Chris Judas. And that could be kind of the shirt. And we go like in the 70-30 split or something along those lines, maybe.
We'll work out the numbers, but we shall do a thing.
Have Davis call my people, which is me.
Davis call you or Tony Elite, whoever wants to handle the business.
Well, could be. Yeah, that could work as well. But then I might get paid in more AEW root beer. And I've got plenty of that.
You get you some real cash monies.
I actually need some of that because the lawn guy came and he said, I'm sick of this fucking root beer. He actually wants money, the crazy guy. So
dare they?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So now this is one for Fozzy as well. Is there anything left on the Fozzy bucket list that you have done? You've done many things with Fozzy, but is there something you have not done yet that you are quite looking forward to?
I would really like to play the big arena in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. It's one of the most famous arenas that no one's really played. But I mean, Madison Square Garden, awesome. I'm looking over here when we opened for Iron Maiden at the Bank of California Stadium.
Yes,
amazing. But nothing really says big band than headlining in Sheboygan. So that's kind of what the next goal is. But it's hard. It's hard to get in there. You really got to up your game, So to play Sheboygan, Schlotsky's Bar and Grill, that's kind of the ultimate goal, There's great bratwurst there, great beer, and great rock and roll.
We'll get you in there. Danhausen, again, we'll have his people call these people, threaten some curses, get you some good monies, real money, not this root beer money that is not existent. We'll get you in, headlining that. All right, so now, this upcoming week, Danhausen will get this out probably tonight, so this is relevant.
Oh, good.
You have been having these labors from this menace, MJF.
Yes.
Quite the menace. Danhausen fought him once.
Oh.
Horrible being.
Terrible person.
So, this fourth labor is what is his name? Wardlow of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Danhausen has some advice for you. Now, you don't have to take it, but this seemed to work.
Hold on.
Write it down.
Okay.
Oh, yes. A mini list, if you will. All right. So there's only one thing on this list. Well, there's kind of two. before the bell rings, because this is not a no DQ match, no?
Yeah, just a normal match, I think. Yeah.
All right. So when MJF is not looking, when he goes to ring the bell, he's turned. You yell, "Hello, Wardlow," and then hit him in the groin right away. Yes,
Okay.
because then the bell rings, he's down. And 1, 2, 3, Chris Judas is on to labor number 5, which, free
Okay.
pass. You've had some rough weeks lately with Nick Gage and
I
the
have.
chairman of the board or whatever may have you, Hoovy. So
Yeah.
you got the spinning Judas off the top rope, which was quite impressive. Danhausen loved it.
Thank you. So I actually, I said, hello, Wardlow,
Yes.
and then hit him in the groin.
Drop to your knees and punch him straight in the groin.
Okay. Hit him straight in the groin. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this out.
Put it in your wallet.
I'm going to put it in my wallet. I'm actually going to put it in my phone case.
Okay, good.
There.
That's a nice phone case. Expensive.
Yeah, stick it right here. And I'm going to keep this for the next week.
Yes.
And then when I get to Pittsburgh, I'm going to take this note out and reread it because I might forget some of the details of it.
Something like
that. And I'm going to use this strategy to hopefully beat Wardlow.
Yes. And then you'll move straight on to the next one, which will be great.
Well, and then I might have to come back on Goodnight Danhausen to get the next bit of advice.
Oh, don't worry. Danhausen has a full plan for MJF.
Okay.
So,
cool. But one step at a time. If you give me too much information, I won't remember it. So
it will overwhelm the brain.
Let me work on this one.
Yes, focus.
Lock it in, execute it,
focus.
Win, and then get the next stage of rules and
ideas. If you want to get really fancy with it, you can Judas effect him in the groin.
That's even better.
Yes.
Just go down on my knees and pop him right in the plum. Boom.
You didn't know where it's coming from. Boom.
That'll give him a little what for. I'll tell you that.
That's exactly right. All right. Well, all in all, you're pretty legendary, just like Danhausen. Some would even say we've had very similar, very evil career paths. So with Danhausen, that's why we're here today together.
Good point. Yeah.
So Danhausen, thanks you for being on. And Danhausen has, first of all, is there anything you'd like to plug before you leave to Danhausen's millions of viewers?
Honestly, my bathtub, because every time I run the water, it just goes straight down. So I got to figure out a way to plug that up. I'm going to go on Amazon and look up bath plugs.
Yes, please.
Hard to find though. Hard to find the right one that fits because you get one and it's a little bit too small and the water still goes down. It's too big, it doesn't fit in, the water still goes down. So that's what I'd like to plug is my bathtub. Good. So I'm going to be working on that next.
Send them to Chris Judas, the bathroom plugs. Be quite nice.
Please.
Also, you go to Jericho 30 and you can buy this book. Perhaps that will help plug his
that's right, Jericho30.com. You can't buy it in bookstores because they wouldn't allow it in bookstores.
It was too good.
Too good. They said too much to read.
Nice.
At a bookstore. Can you believe that?
Bookstore. Who's to think that?
What are you supposed to do at a bookstore? You read. They said there's too much to read.
Yes.
And I said, you know what? I'm just doing it myself. So Jericho30.com, selling like hotcakes, Danhausen.
Yes, absolutely. Because of Danhausen's commercial, no doubt. Now, Danhausen has one request. You had a request for Danhausen and Talk is Jericho. Go listen to Danhausen and Talk is Jericho right now.
It was great.
And it was for Danhausen to sing Tequila.
Right.
Danhausen has a request for you, and that is to sing one portion of Judas with Danhausen. And it's
all right.
Becoming.
All right.
Are we ready?
What are we doing it on 3?
We'll do what is it? 3, 2, 1. I become that.
I'm becoming. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, I thought we were starting.
Oh,
okay.
No.
Okay, this is for real now.
This is for real. All right.
Got it.
3, 2, 1.
I'm becoming.
A Judas in my mind. Here we go. Yes, very good.
You better watch out, Danhausen, because you could have a #1 single on your hands here.
Yes, well, that was quite perfect, if you ask Danhausen. We were perfectly in tune, in sync. And yes, who else has done this on their talk show?
I'll never hear that song the same way again if you're not included. You know?
No, we'll clip this part out. It'll get millions of views.
Yeah. Next time Fozzy plays the 7 levels of hell, we would like you to come up and join us for Judas, please.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Welcome to Fozzy. Listener be cursed is how the intro will go. And then we'll
That's
go.
awesome.
Yes.
That's really great. I like that.
Here we go. All right, Chris Judas, a.k.a. Chris Jericho. Thank you for being on Goodnight Housing with Danhausen. Danhausen thanks you. Love that, Danhausen.
Thanks to you, Danhausen, and I appreciate it and look forward to many more adventures with you. And the Tokyo Dome this year, which we've already sold out twice, by the way, which is ridiculous. People went and bought tickets and then went and bought tickets again.
Oh, yes.
I'm so excited about the rematch. I'm going to hopefully last a minute or two this year. And if I do, when I do the second printing, I'll put you in the favorite opponents in Japan.
Oh, good. You know, perhaps this time we'll just do a tag team. There seems to be some monies in that.
Who could face us?
Nah, nobody.
Put us together. Who's going to face us? Nobody.
No one. Undefeatable, legendary team.
Undefeatable. Can't be beat.
Impossible. All right, Chris. Thank you very much. Love that, Danhausen. Good night.
Good night, Hausen.